Hey, welcome. This is James Hadouk speaking. Let's get my microphone set up here. I want to welcome you to another live webcast, which we do every Wednesday around 1 o'clock usually, and we cover as much as we can about starting, building, and growing your own education business online. So, what am I going to do today? Well, I'm going to tell you a little story to start off with. One of the things that we do at trainingsites.io, which is our agency, is we often build courses for our clients. Not only do we set up and manage the training sites and help them market it, but a lot of people have a lot of great ideas in their head and they're just wondering, how can I create a course out of what I already know and do, what I'm passionate about, what I have expertise in? How can I create an online course? Because I really don't know what to do, or I'm not sure how to approach it, or I don't know how I can present it in a way that people will actually want to learn what it is that I'm trying to teach. And more importantly, how can I earn some money with it? So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over something I did for a client recently, and that's using Chat GPT from start to finish to create a complete online course. So, this is a perfect way if you're just starting out, you're just beginning to create courses, you're getting into all of this, and you go, man, I really, really, really want to get involved in online training, online education. And I've heard about this Chat GPT stuff and I want to use it. So, what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you some of the steps that we went through, tips and tricks on what you can do to help you get started. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how we use Chat GPT to really create the content, but more importantly, organize all the content so people can use it. Now, one of the things we use here on live webcast, which I'm going to turn off, is you'll notice that right now I'm using on the webcam. If I move away, the camera is following me, which can be cumbersome sometimes if I'm sitting too close and it keeps on zooming in and zooming out. So what am I going to do today? Let's turn off the zoom in and out. There, it's turned off, so it shouldn't zoom in anymore. We should be in much better shape with the zooming, or at least the autofocus and the auto zoom. So that's taken care of. So what's the next kind of piece here that we need to look at? Well, I'm going to cover a couple little sort of tips as we go through. I'm going to talk about the 10 kind of tips for creating these courses. I'm going to let you know about the assumptions that I've made on how this is something that you want to make sure that you look at when you're creating all of this content. And then I'm going to go through on ChatGPT. We're actually going to log in. I'll show you how to create a syllabus for your course and then start to patch out or take a look at the actual course content and how you can create the course content, especially if you're kind of nervous getting in front of the camera, creating the content yourself, or you may get a little bit lost and want to make sure that you stay on track with it. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to start off. I got I've got a lot of information in my head right now. I don't know how long I'm going to go. I'll put all the notes in behind. The comments are live here now, so if you do happen to join us, you can put some comments in the chat. I'll do my best to answer them. And again, this content will actually be put into a course itself. This is a live ad hoc kind of situation. So let me see what we can do here. Very, very first thing I'm going to do is, let's take a look at my mind map. And what am I going to cover in my mind map? Well, the thing that I'm going to cover today, let's open this up. Here's my mind map here, and I want to make sure that it's the only one that's actually on the page, and it isn't. So let me just fix this up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I've got my mind map, and mind maps are one of the things that we use on a regular basis to help us organize or put together the courses. And the one that I want to share with you today, this one is, let me go to the right one. So I'm going to cover this one. It's 10 steps to create great online courses. So let's take a look at this particular piece first. And this is just one that I use as a checklist as we go through. And this is the one that we go through personally, but it's also the one that we teach at teachonline.io. So what does this cover and what are these 10 steps? The first thing is that I'm assuming is that you have a good course topic and it's a course topic that is actually in demand. So number one is pick the perfect course topic. And I put a little link here. You'll see where it says Answer the Public. We're going to go to a website called Answer the Public, and I'll show you why when we get there. But it's just a good way to confirm that it's actually a good topic and you're answering a question that people have. So second piece, is there an existing demand? And this is something that I can't help you with in terms of creating a course. You can create a wonderful course. We can go through in here, but if no one wants to learn what it is you're teaching, you've got a fundamental problem before we even get to the course creation. So you got to make sure that, I'm assuming you've done some homework here. You're in a position where you're going, man, I understand. I figured out that I have a course topic. So it's something that someone is interested in learning about. And the second piece is that there's enough people there that are actually interested in learning about it. So learning outcomes. It's one thing for you to have something in your head and wanted to share it. But if you're doing a course, the purpose of a course is to get someone to do something and or know something, and more specifically, do something that they aren't already doing. So you have to make sure that you've got an outcome or outcomes that you want to have as the purpose of the course. If you're just sharing information, it's not a course. You're just letting people know something. If you're getting people to do something that they're not already doing, and you're teaching them how to do that, that is more of a course. You're going to hold them accountable to it and make sure that they've actually learned what it is that you wanted to teach them. Select and gather your course content. I'm going to show you that, how to organize it. Again, I'm assuming that you're an expert in something. You've figured that part out. You've got some expertise and you understand what are the pieces that you want to have there. Structure and flowchart, modules and courses. This is great because this is one of the things that a lot of people struggle with. I'm going to show you how to use Chat GPT to actually do that step for you. Next one, best way to deliver the content. This one, a course can be delivered in a whole bunch of different ways. And we've covered that in a number of other sections. And I'm not talking just about the fact that you have different learning styles, whether it be auditory or physical or visual or written text or audio only or PowerPoint slides or live videos, and whether it's actually in person or if it's online or it's a combination of the both. We've covered those in detail. I'm assuming for this one, it's your first course, you're just starting out. I'm going to show you how to do it in a pretty simple fashion that can be upgraded to include multiple learning styles and multiple formats of content. So I'm assuming that you've got an idea on this. I don't know for a fact, based on, unless I know what it is you're teaching, what the best way to deliver it is. That's something that you're going to have to figure out and think about. Capturing and editing your course content. Technically, you can have Chat GPT create the course content if you give it enough information. And I'll show you how I actually did that with a client when we log into Chat GPT. Set up your online school. Get the perfect pricing for your business model, launch spokes around your hub. So what are we doing for school here? I'm going to do one on, we'll do one on pickleball. And pickleball is the fastest growing sport in North America. I have a little project, we're doing pickleball. And in this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to play pickleball as a course, an introductory course for someone who's just starting out. So I'm assuming that you've done some of these online course homework. You've got some idea, you've got information or outcomes that you're working towards. There's a demand for your customer and from your customer, and that you've got a topic with some meat on it. And why don't we start that right now? So I'm going to go and we'll actually go and we'll take a look to, let's take a look. Here's one of the sites that I have, and I'll open this one up so that you can see it. But this is the pickleball site, and I have right now the domain is just a test one. You'll see it says pickleballfriends.com. I also own the domain pickleball courses, so we're going to update that one before it gets published. And in this case, this is a WordPress site, and it's a learning campus that uses BuddyBoss for our community and campus packaging, and another plugin for WordPress called LearnDash, which creates our courses. So I have a dummy course here called How to Play Pickleball, and we're going to go through how to actually create that with Chat GPT. And you can see that I've got some dummy sort of pieces here on getting started, build your vision. These were just dummy ones that I put in when I installed it, but we're going to actually create the syllabus and the course content. So that's what we're going to be working on. The question is, how do we actually figure out what it is we're going to be answering in this question? So here's, I did a video on this one. You'll be able to see it actually on the teachonline.io site. I think it's on the YouTube channel, but that one definitely is in the teachonline.io site. Let's take a look at how do we make sure that there's some value in it, what it is we want to teach. The one that I showed actually in the first step of those 10 steps of creating online courses was Answer the Public. This is a free service that you can actually go and visit answerthepublic.com. You can see it at the top there. So answerthepublic.com. This is a published service site, and the thing that's interesting about this is it will let you know the demand based on search results for some of the topics that you are interested in creating a course on. So it's not a search engine, it's basically an interface to what people are searching. So this is a great tool to kind of find out what it is that if the topic that you're interested in has some value. So I'm going to put how to play pickleball. And again, pickleball is a fun sport. People are starting to discover it. And again, it's the fastest growing sport in North America. It's kind of like ping pong and tennis and badminton. A lot of different age groups playing it. It can be played in singles or doubles. Again, just a really, really fun sport that people are becoming very interested in. I have the ability to pick by country. What I'm going to do is we'll just pick the United States. Pick Canada because I'm in Canada right now. English, and I'm going to play search. So let's see what happens from Answer the Public. And Answer the Public, just remember, Answer the Public is a free version, which allows you, I think you can do 2 searches a day. If you want to do more than that, you have to upgrade. So what's happening in the background is Answer the Public is going, and it is going to see the searches of how to play pickleball. And a couple things come up right away. The first one is if we take a look, we've got how to play pickleball. There's a lot of people searching for it, okay? Cost per click lets you know in some respects if there's a demand for people wanting to place ads to sell on those keywords. So it's medium. You got under $1 per keyword per click. So there's demand there from other competitors, but there's not an overly large demand for it. So just going to look through some of these, and if we take a look at, again, I'm just scrolling down, and I'll do my best to copy this. We've got how to play pickleball, and you'll notice there's some dots here, and those particular dots, if you take a look at them in the spiral, it's like how to play pickleball. That one is darker than this one is. Can you play pickleball against a wall? So these questions, which are why questions and will questions, these questions are being searched for in more or higher demand than ones that are not as dark. So we've got will, why, which, what, are, who, when, where, how. You can see there's a lot of how ones here and can. And these ones are upgrade to lock if you want to see them. But here's the one that's interesting for me. How to play pickleball. You see how to play pickleball videos, how to play for beginners, how to play singles, how to play on a tennis court, where to play, what to play. There's all sorts of information here. So what this tells us is that people are actually asking questions or starting to learn or wanting to learn about all of these particular pieces. And you get some real idea when you search through this on what the demand is, but more importantly, the questions that are the ones that are being asked. So when you're creating your course and you go, okay, great, I'm going to create a course, the one thing I want you to do right at the start is, what is the topic that people are searching for? How to play pickleball for beginners is being searched for how to play pickleball before dummies, before seniors, on a tennis court, at home, on grass. So these, you can see it gets faded out. These are the ones that we want to make sure that our course topic is about. The ones that are being searched more, those are the ones that we want to do. Okay? So take a look through these and write down the questions that people are already asking, so that you know that you have a course topic that makes sense. And it's always a good idea just to kind of go through these as well. If you want to actually look, this is a visual representation. Any of these, you can pick the data and it will actually show you cost per click, the search volume, and these are all particularly of interest to us as course creators. So go do that. The first thing I want you to do is pick that perfect course topic. How to play pickleball for beginners is what I'm going to focus in on, that one. So what happens next? We're going to go and figure out what are we possibly going to get involved in the next little piece as we get started here. So I've got a course topic. It's perfect. I'm pretty sure there's demand for it. I looked at Answer the Public. That part is there. So what's next? Well, let's think about this for a second. If I'm going to create a course, it's probably a good idea, if I know I have this topic now, I'm going to go, okay, what's next? How can we make some kind of syllabus or find out what would be a good idea to explain, or the outcome that people want to know how to play pickleball for beginners? How do we actually get that set up? And I'm going to show you a couple things that we did. So I'm going to log into Chat GPT here. And if you haven't done this already, Chat GPT has a free version and a paid version. The one that I'm going to show you is the paid version. I did a video yesterday, actually. There's Chat GPT changes on a daily basis, it seems, where the interface changes a little bit. Things are a little bit different each time that you look at it. So when you see this, it might be a little bit different than what you originally had taken a look at. So here's what we're going to do. First of all, I'm going to ask some questions from ChatGPT to give it some framework as to what it might be. You wonder if I'm looking down here, it's because of course I've got some notes in front of me. I've done this in a couple other areas, so I just want to kind of repeat what we did the first way so that you can see it. Let's do one here. So I'm going to pick one up here. The first thing I'm going to do is, I did one here, so Pickleball 101 Syllabus. So what I did is I said to ChatGPT, I said, I want you to act as an online course instructor, teaching pickleball to beginners, and prepare a course syllabus description formatted in Markdown. So it's something that I can use to add to my website with the course on it. Now, I'm showing you, you might have heard of the term prompt engineering, or the best way to get answers from ChatGPT. This is not a course on that. I am showing you some basics on how you can use ChatGPT to create a syllabus. I'm not teaching you how to create the best syllabus. I just want to show you it can be done. So here's what I did. I asked this question, and this is what ChatGPT gave me back. It said, here's the Pickleball 101, Introduction to Pickleball for Beginners. It's given me a brief course description, and then it's given me a syllabus. The introduction, and it says, what's the history of pickleball? The overview of pickleball equipment and the court layout is the first part of the introduction they want to talk about. And pardon me, let me open this one up because I didn't show the browser. Let's go back here quickly here. I'm just going to show you. So ChatGPT, this is a syllabus for the course I was talking about earlier. I just want to make sure that you see it now. I wasn't sharing the screen. My apologies for that. So I said, I want you to act as an online instructor teaching pickleball to beginners, prepare a syllabus description, and format it in Markdown. Now, remember when you're using ChatGPT that the more questions you ask with context, the better that ChatGPT gets at giving answers that relate to the previous questions you asked. In this example I'm showing you, I didn't give it any context. I hadn't been chatting with it over a number of prompts or questions and responses. I just asked this prompt or this question right out of the blue. What it did give me is it gave me the Pickleball 101 introduction, and it gave me the syllabus, and it's got lesson 1, and it's got 2 topics it's covering. It's got lesson 2, it's got 4 topics that it's copying. Lesson 3, 4, and then it's got lesson 4 with 3, and you can see a couple things that it's done. It's limited the number of lessons, and it's also limited the number of topics. There's a whole bunch of strategies here when you're creating courses. Chat GPT has done a really good job here because you want to have under usually 8 lessons. You want to have under 4 or 5 topics, and each of those topics should be 3 to 5 minutes long. So you have a nice kind of even flow to the courses that are not overwhelming in a particular area or answer to a question, but it flows nicely so that people can keep engaged and you can keep things moving quickly as the instructor. Because the last thing you want to do if it's an online only course is, it's going to be pretty hard to keep people engaged if it gets long and drawn out over a particular topic. Okay, so there's the 5 lessons and the topics, 3 to 4 each one. And it said the course will be delivered through a combination of videos, text lessons, and interactive quizzes. Now, this is the syllabus that Chat GPT put together. I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to be doing videos on it. So I'd have to make some changes to that, but it's something that we can use to get started off. Prerequisites, who's the course for? So this has just given me a pretty good idea of what the course is about. And you're probably going, okay, that's fine. What do I want to do now, or what can I do with it? So let's just take a look at this quickly. You can see we've got, I'm just going to write these down. Introduction to pickleball, history of pickleball. So we've got this down. Let's take a look quickly and see what we can do here. I'm just going to copy this to the clipboard. It's copied. And let's go take a look at my course that I created. And the course, how to play pickleball. I'm going to go and edit this course. And the first thing I need to do is, let's put the syllabus here. So, course description, I'm just going to paste it in, and you can see that it didn't work too well. So, let's do a Control-Z and background that one. We'll delete that. I'm going to go back to copy it, see if we can get a cleaner one just by copying it. And again, these are one of the things when you're working through all of these different tools is formatting some of the text can be quite cumbersome. So let me try this again. We'll go back to how to play pickleball and see if we can get a good copy in here. Paste and match style. Close enough. Okay. So on this one, Introduction to Pickleball, that's going to be our course title. Paste that in, and it is the course description, so I don't need that part. But what I am going to do is, there we go, there's my syllabus, which I don't necessarily want yet because I'm going to show you where that goes. Okay, so let's cut this part out. Oh, that was a little too much. There we go. Format. And again, this is one of the things when you're creating all of this content, sometimes you have to play around with how it gets pasted in, depending on the computer that you're using. Things may work a little bit differently for you. In this case, you can see that I'm having some trouble with the spacing, so we'll work with that one. I just wanted to show you what it might look like as we get going with this. So let's try this now. So I'm just putting in the titles that it provided for us, just so that you see kind of how it looks as we fill this out and the courses go in. And again, these are ones, again, just remember, I'm not doing the exact package of everything put together here, but it just gives you an idea of what is involved. So I'm just going to update this right now. And this course, what's happened is this particular course now has a description and it's giving me some ideas, or the person that's reading it is what the format is, the prerequisite, who it's for, and there's the course content here. So this, again, has written a description for us. It's Chat GPT. I didn't write this. It's a good basis to get started with. It doesn't have to be the only thing that you do. Use it as a framework, a way to get started. So you'll notice I've got these lessons here, course content. These aren't the ones that I wanted, right? So let's go back and edit the course. So I'm going to go back, take a look at this course, and we're going to go to, again, this is LearnDash. I'm going to go back to the builder, and you can see that we have, these were the original lessons that we had. So the ones that got created for us in Chat GPT were basic rules. So introduction to pickleball, basic rules. So let's put those ones in. I wish I had a really good job of being able to copy those out. So let's do introduction to pickleball. So we got introduction to pickleball. That's the first one. The next one was basic rules of pickleball and essential skills was the second one. So we'll go and change the title. We'll save the title there. This one here is essential rules. Now I'm not putting any content in, obviously, but I am putting together basic rules, essential pickleball skills and pickleball strategies. You can see I'm going through these and I'm not remembering of what the other one, we'll keep it there. This one we'll call pickleball strategies. The other one we had were conclusion and next steps. So again, I'm just copying these quickly just so that you can see what it looks like. And in this one, I'm going to do a new lesson because I already used the ones that were there. And I'm going to add a lesson, so we're all good. So I've now got the lessons here, and I'll just show you what happens with the topics. And again, as we lay this out. So this first one that I had here was history of pickleball and equipment and layout. So I'm going to do history of pickleball. Let's do that as a lesson. And this one we'll do new topic. Or sorry, this is the lesson. We got a new topic. And I'll show you something that's actually wrong so you can see what happens, how you organize these. So overview of pickleball equipment and the court layout is one. That's a topic for that lesson. But what about I had another one which was history, right? History of pickleball. So I got history of pickleball is there. So just remember, I'm putting these in an order that Chat GPT gave me, but it's not necessarily the one that I have to keep. So at any time, what I can do is change the order, and I now have them set up. So let's go take a look at what we've got now for the course. I've got a description, I've got a syllabus, who it's for, what's involved, and then I've also now got the lessons and the topics are starting to be flushed out. So you got the pieces here, prerequisites, and now you can take a look where I have all of the course content that Chat GPT gave me. I didn't come up with this, Chat GPT gave me. I put in the two topics for the basic rules. One was history of pickleball. The other one was overview of pickleball equipment and court layout. So I've got the course set up. What I don't have is the history of pickleball. I don't have any history there. I haven't written anything. It's blank, right? So what do I do there? Well, let's take a look and see how we can create the text for the history of pickleball. So let's go up and we'll go back to this one. I think let's do this one live here. I'm going to do one. Let's see if I have one here that might work out. There we go. Okay, well, let's do this one here. So I'm going to, let's do this one. It knows I'm talking about pickleball, right? So the page knows I'm talking about pickleball. What I'm going to do now is, I'm going to just refresh this, make sure that I'm logged in and everything's okay. I don't want to do that part right. So let's go in here and we're going to say English, writing style. I'm just leaving it blank. Tone is default. I don't want it emotional again. These are some additional pieces that have been added. But the question I want to say is, or the chat that I want to give is, what can we say as a, this is off the top of my head. I'm not getting into prompt engineering here. It's just to show you how this would work. So I'm going to say I'm an experienced pickleball player, and I'm creating an online course for, and this is where you can get into, one of the things is that I'm not showing again, the context. If I was teaching this to beginners, I could say beginner pickleball players who are males who are of a certain age who want to play singles, as an example. So you can get very specific on the prompts. I'm just using this as a prompt to show you how it would work. So I'm saying I'm an experienced pickleball player creating an online course for, I'm going to say younger adults who want to learn how to play pickleball and let's just do it this time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just saying I gave it some prompts, right? Some context, and I'm going to say we'll do that one right now. And I'm going to appear and I'm going to say create, and we'll say 1,000 words just for an example. Create. I want to do 500 words. Do 750 words. I'm going to ask for a detailed. Let's just say a detailed. Create a 750 detailed introduction to the history of pickleball. So I'm just writing this prompt. I'm going to give it, and what's going to happen is Chat GPT is working in the background, right? So I said 750 words. You can do whatever you want. And I'm going to take a look here. And what it's done is it's creating me a 750 word introduction to pickleball. I didn't write it. It wrote as me, as someone who's experienced. It's taken the search results from the public information that's available online. So in this case, I'm just going to copy this. And I'm going to copy it, and let's go and create our first lesson on the course. So I'm going to, there's the history of pickleball. Let's just go and let's edit this topic. Remember, for courses on LearnDash, I'm using lessons, and lessons can have topics. You may use other ways, but I'm going to do this. I'm just going to create V, and I now have a good snapshot of where it started. If I had some pictures I wanted to put in here, I could. If I have any other content, I can put it in. I can look at this and go, man, I really don't like the way this is written. I want it, give me another response. And it gives another version of it. So I can start changing any of the prompts that I'm giving it, but it's creating this particular lesson or topic for a lesson. And I can even go and say, I can say stuff, for example, who are some of the so I'm going to say who are some of the well-known pickleball players, and then it's going to give me some more context, right? So I've asked it, you know, who are some, but here's some accomplished players and some names, and you can cut and paste and put this into your content again. And you can dig as deep as you want for each of these topics. We've just done one as an example. So if I go back to the course, you're going to see I've got my lesson there, and I'm just going to go and update this, and let's see what I've got running. So I'm going to go back. We'll take a look at the topic, And we now have a written topic with text. Now, this is not given us a video, correct? This is given us a written history of pickleball. This is a regular WordPress site. If you have an audio recording, if you wanted to use any of the other tools and actually create audio from this, if you had a PowerPoint presentation, a slide deck, pictures that you've picked up somewhere else or that you've taken yourself, they can all be added to the content here. But you've now got the syllabus of your course set up, and you can create your content as you get going here. So there's an essential introduction to pickleball. Let's go to the next piece. What else do we have here? So I'm going to go and we'll go backwards one, history of pickleball. And we're going to go rules of pickleball, overview of pickleball equipment. So here's the next one. And again, I'm just going through these briefly just so that you see how it works. I don't have any pickleball equipment in court layout, but I'm going to go back to Chat GPT and I'm going to say, I'm just going to say the next lesson of the course introduces the required equipment and what else do we want to say here? Just say the required equipment. We'll do this one for playing pickleball. We're going to ask it, what should a beginner know What should the beginner know about the equipment? So just watch what happens here. It's going to give us, again, a brief introduction of what the different pieces are, right? I haven't written this. This is just basic information that has been amalgamated from all the public information that's available online, but it's going through some of the different pieces. Again, we don't have to take this. We can just say, we would just ask and say, where would beginners find this type of equipment? And again, because we're asking questions in around it, it's telling us more information that we can use in the course content. And it says, don't need to spend a lot of money. Start with basic paddles and balls. We can just say, what is a good budget for So when it gives you an answer, don't be afraid to clarify it, work through it, and it'll give you some ideas here. Not the affiliate links to where you might want to do it. That's more research you can do. But if you take a look at this, we've now had, remember we put a lesson together, right? Overview of pickleball equipment and court layout. All we did is we gave it a couple prompts. It's given us all the information about getting started with the equipment. And you can dig down as deep as you want with that. But I'm going to go back and I want to know about the court layout, right? So I'm going to say, just going to ask it, just going to say, how's the pickleball court set up? And it's going to give me the court dimensions. Again, this is all public information. I didn't write it. It came up with even some of the terms. For example, the non-valley zone, which is the kitchen. It gives me a really good idea where these came from. And just say, then you can ask more questions. And these are ones that came up. Remember, we're looking at answer the public. I'm going to say, can you play pickleball on a tennis court? That was one of the questions that came up, right? And it's going to give me the answer to that. So these are all pieces that we can start to pick together and put together in our lessons or in our courses. And this one can be done, if you think about it. Remember we put this here. Remember we had, I'll go back to the introduction of pickleball for beginners. I put a syllabus together, right, with lessons and topics. All you need to do is go through Chat GPT and ask the questions that the syllabus gave you, and you will actually have your written course content. And all of this is not written by me, but it's fine-tuned by me. Do you have to use it all? No. Can you combine it together? Yes. Can you ask ChatGPT to merge pieces together or explain them or put them in context? Yes. The bottom line is, if you have it in your head and you know the questions that people are asking and the answers that you want to teach people, you can just use the prompts to lay out exactly what you wanted. I'm going to show you one other thing that's really, really neat with this is when you're doing online courses, and I want to go back to this for a sec because it is kind of interesting. I think so. When you're creating online courses, I'm just showing the text right now. If you had an audio that you wanted to record yourself, you can put the audio in there. If you have a webcam or your smartphone or smart device and you want to go to a court and explain what it is that was just written out for you, you can add a video here. You don't have to, but the content is there and the structure is there. So play with these things. Just remember the questions that people are asking and the questions that are being brought up by the syllabus that was created for you. It's a really, really easy way to get started if you don't know what it is that you need to write or how you need to write it. This is just done with the text. When you're doing a course, the difference between doing a blog post and a course is you want to make sure that people understand the rules. And a good idea is to provide materials with each of the lessons. If you have a PDF, if you have a file, if you have links to stores, for example, where they should look at equipment, provide all the other resources for them. And LearnDash does that, the course we were just looking at. You can actually add materials to each of the lessons and topics. But one of the things that I suggest that you do is add a quiz. And a quiz is just a way for you as the instructor to check and see, hey, did that person actually read through the text? Do they really understand what's involved in the lesson or what it is I was trying to teach them? So ChatGPT is really great for creating quizzes as well. So let's go back, and I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to say, create a quiz. I'm going to say a 3-question quiz. Create a 3-question quiz based on the content, the previous content that would that can be answered. We'll just say so I'm creating a 3-question quiz based on the previous content that can be answered with a true or false to confirm, or just way that would show the person understood the required equipment. And again, you can structure this any way you want. So it's going to come up with something, and it's got 3 questions for us that we can use in our particular example. So this one, what it did is it said, I gave it the question, and it said, create a 3-question quiz based on previous content that can be answered with a true or false that would show the person understood what it is. So pickleball paddle is a primary piece of equipment used in pickleball and must meet certain requirements. True or false? It's got some distance. True or false? Is a beginner? Do they have to get it more? True or false? So it's created the quiz for us. And we can create any kind of quiz that we want, as a number of questions we want, covering any of the content we want. And this can be quickly added to our course, because any of the particular go back and we'll edit this course. Any of the lessons that we're teaching or the topics that we're talking about, at any point, I can go to the builder here. And again, most of the plugins or learning management plugins that are available, they will allow you to do this. But I'm just going to go open this up and I'm going to say new quiz. And that quiz is going to be, we'll just call it the I'm going to call it the Getting Started quiz. So all I would do now is I would take those questions, put them in. I've got the quiz that's set up, put those 3 questions in with the answers and a description of them, and I've now got my first lesson done and the first couple topics done. I didn't create any of it. I used Chat GPT to do it. So let's take a look at what happens there. I'm taking the course. I decided to take the course and I'm going, man, this is super. What I'm going to do is, there's my details, course content. We've got 2 topics, 1 quiz. It's all set up for me. This is an absolutely gorgeous way to create courses. And you're in a position now when you're actually doing this is you can go through and you can do this for each particular lesson. Let me give you an example of how I did that. Let me do one here. We'll just open up. Let me just do one here as an example. I'm just looking through some of the other ones. Let's do this one. Here's one that I created. I'm going to show you this one instead. So this is an example of, open this one up. This is one of doing or playing around with the content that you're asking about. So in this one, I did a section on create a successful online course, selling them on what types of information would search for. So these prompts that I gave actually come up and they provide all of the details for creating the course. One of the ones that I did earlier, and I'll do that one here. Just do that. I'm looking for the one. I want to make sure that I get a good one. I wish I had the one that I was looking at right away. Pardon me for this. Let's try this one here. Actually, let me look. I'll just, this one I'll read for you just so that we have it so that you can actually see it. So I'm looking from one of the pages. I had this written down up on some text just so that you can see it. So what I asked ChatGPT to do is I asked it for good prompts. I was just showing the content, right? So if you want to get serious about this, you can do that for all of the lessons or syllabuses, but it's just going to be a bit of a core dump. So the other thing you can do is you can ask ChatGPT to help you with the best prompts to ask to have a great course. And in this case, what I'll do is I'm going to go through some of those prompts for you. I'll put these all listed in the comments. So if you want to see them after, you can certainly do that. Remember, teachonline.io, they are there. If you just want all of this done for you, this is what we do at trainingsites.io, our agency. But this is just to give you an example of how detailed you can go with this. And what I did is I put together some prompts with ChatGPT to help course creators who are interested in creating courses over and above what we just looked at. So here are some prompts to help you get great content for each lesson. And here's some of the ones that came up with. And this one, again, I'll include these below, link to them so you don't have to write them down, but I want you just to think about them. What are the key concepts or skills that your audience needs to learn in order to be able to play pickleball in this case? So you can ask ChatGPT, and it's giving you the syllabus. You can also see what are the key concepts or skills that the audience, be specific, what audience is needs to learn about about pickleball to become a good player. Create a list of these concepts or skills and use them as the basis of your lesson plan. So if I wanted a more detailed syllabus, I just start off by saying, hey, create a syllabus for Pickleball 101. If I want more details, I have to engineer a prompt that's similar to that and let ChatGPT know that I want a detailed and specific syllabus. For each concept or skill, what are the most important things your audience needs to know in order to understand and apply it? Again, we just did a core dump. ChatGPT, super detailed, puts it all together for you, and it will give you the response for these prompts that are far more detailed than the ones that we put in. What are some of the common mistakes or misconceptions? Another great prompt. What are real life examples or case studies of how this was applied? Can you break down each concept or skill into smaller and manageable steps? It gave us a syllabus of 5 lessons, each with 3 to 4 topics. No one said we had to do it that way. We can do just one of those and go in super detail in it. Create a list of these steps. What are some of the practical tips that your audience can apply to each lesson, skill, or tip? And how can you create a sense of excitement or anticipation for each lesson so that your audience is eager to learn the next lesson or topic? There's a huge opportunity for you to actually play around with these and create content. In this example, I'm expecting you to be someone who knows something, but you may not know how to put it together or organize it in a way that turns it into a great course. ChatGPT is a simple tool that can be used not only to start, but to fine-tune your courses. My suggestion getting started is to just create a course, use the basics that I just kind of went through with ChatGPT. The free version will get you started. Create a syllabus, and then each of the lessons or topics, ask a question or prompt ChatGPT to give you the response to that question. If you want to get more detailed, if you want to get more specific, ask the question in a different way. And remember, when you're creating a course like this, if you do it all in one project on ChatGPT, which I did in this particular example, the answers that you get better each time because ChatGPT is responding in context to the entire package. I think that if you are just held up by this fact that I'm afraid of what to say or how to say it, go and paste these out. If you have to add some words to it, it's fine. Are you plagiarizing? No, you're not plagiarizing. This is just a response to publicly available information. Add your own context, your own experience to it, and you're going to have excellent content for the lessons and topics of your course. If you're thinking about how do I fine tune this or make it a little bit better, one of those questions that I said, and we're just talking about, what are some common mistakes or misconceptions? That was a prompt that we gave to ChatGPT, right? You don't, an advanced prompt. You don't have to take the answer from ChatGPT. You can just explain, what are the biggest problems, mistakes, or misconceptions? What are some real life examples? So if you're writing something out on how to hit a forehand, for example, use ChatGPT to give you the mechanics of it, but you can take pictures on your smartphone and upload the picture as part of it. So you can use the concepts and skills, the details, you can start adding these in. Ask ChatGPT if you want, but just use the prompts to actually fill in the information that yourself. And I showed you briefly, if we go and actually open that up. If I go back to the course, this is something now where we have a course that can be sold. And it can be sold for as little or as much as you want, and it can be sold or given away for free. It's just an opportunity for you to teach, have a site that provides training for people to learn about what it is that you're excited about, what you know about, and what you want to teach people to do. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to go into more detail this. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to I'm going to use ChatGPT as a project. I'm going to be using it to actually create more courses on the Teach Online site based directly on Chat GPT. In the past, I've always done courses where it's me writing the context, me doing the videos, me doing the audio. I'm going to use Chat GPT to create courses in the Teach Online course. We've already started to do that, but I'm going to start publishing them soon. And this is not about, it's not about creating a course. It's about creating an environment for learning where you can teach people about your expertise and your passion. I just showed you 5 lessons, 3 or 4 topics on each lesson. It can be less than that. It can be more than that. It can be more complex, less complex. Just remember that this is an opportunity to create courses, not one big course. The other misconception that I find with people just getting started like this is they think that they've got to answer all of the questions and provide all the answers to every question in a course. You do not. Think of smaller courses in smaller chunks. Use ChatGPT to guide you through that. And I think you'd be amazed and delighted at how easy it is to create courses, and more importantly, how fun it can be really sharing what it is that you know and do. So I hope you enjoyed this session. Again, I'll put some of the contents below. I'll add that. There we go. Someone asked a question here. I don't really understand it. I have one question. Categories of peripheral components and their advantage lists. So I'm getting one question here. I don't know if it's specific about what it is. It's not really something I can understand. So let's figure this one out. I'm going to, the other thing I'll do is I'll put a link to, if it's peripherals, I'll talk about some of the peripherals that you need as well as or complement ChatGPT. And actually, let me do that quickly just because I can today and I have them open. I did a quick session, a live webcast earlier in the week talking about ChatGPT and AI tools, which is the best one to use. And I'm going to show you one of the other ones that you can use with ChatGPT if you get more into it. This is something that's kind of interesting. I'll show it to you quickly. Remember, I was talking about some of the making the lessons stand out. I was talking about, for each concept or skill, what are the most important things the audience needs to know in order to understand and apply it? What if you don't have a description of your audience? What if you don't know your target market? What if you're not sure how you can message what it is that you're doing for people? Well, there's actually some tools that can help you do that. One of the ones that I use on a regular basis is called Hello Scribe. So let me just open that one up for you. This one is called helloscribe.ai. This is a tool, a AI tool or artificial intelligence tool specific for marketing. And they have some really great tools for, in this case as an example, creating a brand message. And what am I talking about? So let's say I want to make sure I understand who I'm talking to and what I want to say to them in terms of marketing the course to them. And this one says, how am I positioning? Key messages, personal or company bio, story, talking points. So let's say for this one, I'm going to just say, let's do the marketing angle, or we'll do a brand story. So I'm going to say in this one, write an elevator pitch for subject matter experts and small businesses wanting to create and sell courses online. So I'm going to put this here for so I'm going to say, write an elevator pitch for professional pickleball players wanting to teach beginners how to play, pickleball players. So I'm just asking, I'm saying, what's my brand story? I want to have a professional pickleball player. I want to create an online course that teaches beginners how to play pickleball. And I have some tone or style that I can pick on this one. It's casual, and this one we'll just keep it casual. I'm going to click generate. Hello Scribe is going to give me the marketing message and some brand story positioning that I want to have here that's going to help me when I'm creating the prompts in GPT because it's specific. Remember, Chat GPT wants to create specific, and here's ones that are a little bit of a brand story. So beginner pickleball player looking to create, take your game to the next level. Basics and more so you can on the court start professional pickleball courses. You learn the ins and outs of playing the game from experienced players. This text, this content can be created in one AI tool. And again, we can copy and paste it and put it into Chat GPT based on the prompts that we use to fine tune or actually help what we're getting out of Chat GPT. So there's all sorts of tools can be combined together. This is a great thing to think about when you're doing this is how can I be specific? How can I message it to the right people? This is the opportunity to create courses. So just want to refresh your memory, create courses as fast as you can, as many as you can, answering questions to questions or giving answers to people who have questions and are willing to pay for it is actually optimal. And if it's something that you know and do and you need a little help getting started, get on to ChatGPT and play around with it. So I think we'll bring that in for landing. It's James Maduke speaking from teachonline.io and trainingsites.io. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, check the comments, like and subscribe. We'll be around to make sure that you can start, build, and grow your own education business. And take care. Expect the best.